And we are live. All right, guys, we're here. Let's get it. Thank you for your patience as we were working out the technical difficulties. But in case anyone is new and doesn't know who I am, my name is Antonio Bryce. I am the creator and writer of the comic book series brand, which is currently on Indiegogo. We are over the $68,000 mark. And I have the creator of what looks to be a very interesting book called Iron Skies here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kristopher Rue. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Thank you.
All right, all right. So I saw your project and I wanted to reach out to you because I thought this looked great. And I noticed you were listed on IndieCron as well. So let's get into it. Tell me about Iron Skies.
All right, so Iron Skies has been like a project that I've been working on for a very long time. If I were just gonna like sum up kind of the gist of it all in like one little short sentence, it's the crew of an ill-omened airship must navigate a tumultuous political landscape and overcome their personal demons if they are to survive the scarring of their world. It's just a quick little gets you in there, but it's the cross between like steampunk and fantasy isn't something I've seen too much. Almost all the steampunk I've seen has been like alternate Earth history. Um, and mainly I like the aesthetic. I like the idea of like the smoke, the steam, um, unreliable guns, just like that whole look and that whole feel. I love airships. Have ever since like Final Fantasy, since like my young days.
Mm.
Um, and then with the fantasy aspect, I mean, there's demons that are trapped in these grimoires, um, and there's an entire culture that kind of eschews a lot of the uh, mechanical steampunk side of things. They're more tribalistic with like the speaking to the spirits sort of thing going on, and then you've got kind of like the middle ground. Like, so you've got on the west side, you've got the incredibly advanced like steampunk, like mechanical side. On the east, you've got the spiritual stuff, and it's they're also right up against this wall that contains kind of like this mist that's the uh, mystical force, or rather, it just they don't really know what lives on the other side of it. Like, there's people who have gone across, they come back, they're telling stories of like these flying sky whales, these uh, like all these monsters like werewolves, vampires, etc. That's where all their like folklore demons come from. It's like the other side of this like mystical wall, um, and it just holds all of that back. And then so that's why that group of people lives over there. And then kind of in the middle, you've got like your European nations from like the from about like the 1400s, something like that, like conquest, like broken up tribal. And so their politics mainly involve warfare, conquering, trade, things along those lines. And this takes place just after the shattering of the kingdom of Skaro. And so the kingdom is where one of our protagonists is from. She was third in line for the throne, so she wasn't really not much was expected of her. She was just kind of a weight on the family, so she like nobody really bothered watching her too much, and she got off into a lot of trouble, and ended up becoming an airship pilot. So that's kind of where like the whole how the team ends up having an airship and everything. Now she's not really in a very good place at the start of this comic. She is this is 7 years after the war. Her country's destroyed, and she's actually found in a brothel along with basically her ward as a Shrake, who's a young thief, stumbles upon her, and the city is caught on fire by an attacking force. So that's kind of how everything starts off.
Okay. Well, I'm doing a screen share right now. I wanted to make sure because I got a little nervous there when you were talking. It sounded like we were having some technical difficulties and you were breaking up a little bit, but you started being clear again. So hopefully everyone can hear you. Um, but I do have it screen shared right now, and of course, if you want to check out Iron Skies, the link is in the description. It is on Indiegogo. It's also on IndieCron. But man, I really, when I was going through your campaign, I really liked what I saw here. I thought this art looked fantastic. Tell me about your artist.
All right, my artist is a guy named Renan Shodi. He, as far as I can tell, he's a Japanese guy. His family ended up in Brazil at some point, and as far as I know, he's a native Brazilian. We haven't talked too much about like his personal background, but I know that he has a mentor who's been part of like the Marvel, DC, and stuff that he's learned from. And I don't off the top of my head remember his name, but I can try to find that here in just a moment. Um, but basically, I found him on Zoal, which is just like a comic resource site for artists and whatnot. Benelli, I think, is the guy's name that trained him or works with him. But yeah, so found this guy. I was like, dude, yeah, if you want to work on my comic, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it sounds really exciting. It sounds like a really good first issue. So I was like, awesome. And he does original art, which is a huge plus for me. I love it when people like actually put pen to paper.
Oh yeah, he's
And
doing the
then I sent it
traditional
over to
one.
my colorist, and my colorist. Yep. Yep. In fact, that picture you're on right now on the screen share,
Hmm.
that background for that guy with the little crossbow and sword, he painted that in coffee. So whoever ends up buying the original art on that one, uh, it's actually painted in, it's like black and white and then painted in coffee in that little background area that looks like a map.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, this looks great. I do collect original art. uh I just like so okay, man, this just looks great. I was like every time I look at this stuff, um I wanted to shine a little light on the project because it seems like it looks really good. And I figured I was like, man, you should be doing much better than what you're doing. Um, but sometimes as I can personally attest, you have everything there, but you just don't have that social media presence, and the people
Yeah,
just
and
can't find the project.
well, and the thing is like I didn't know that when I started. Like, I mean, I've heard it probably 10, 20 times now after I'd already started dumping a bunch of money into the project and trying to get it going. Um, but I didn't know that right off the bat. Like when I just knew that I was like, man, I'm been, kicking the can down the road for 30 some odd years. Like I don't like if I don't start this project, I'll just find another way to put it off. I'll just do whatever. So I was like, okay, no, I've got it. I've got it. I can write it. I wrote it all out. I was like, okay, I've got some money. I'll start funding it. Like, because if I don't do it now, I'll just wait and then wonder if, what could have happened, sort of thing. So rolled the dice, so to speak.
I
But
got you.
yeah,
I got
it's
you.
unfortunate because otherwise I would have, spent a good year building up like a social media presence and all that. But I didn't know any of that. I just know that I wanted to write, comics. I wanted to write in general, but especially comics, visual medium stuff. I love it. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to do it.
Yeah, I can tell you, I dove in head first. I had probably dropped about $5,000 um, developing concept art and just different pieces to have on you know Kickstarter or Indiegogo just to crowdfund and paid for some ads and stuff like that, and it just wasn't registering with the audience. I can say I spent money trying to drive traffic to the site, and I only got my first Indiegogo only got $95, in sales for brand. And yeah, it was brutal. 60-day campaign, $95. And and that's what it was. You have to have at least 100 for Indiegogo to even disperse funds to you. So I couldn't
Right.
even
Right.
I couldn't
Yeah.
get it. So then, went to Kickstarter, and we raised almost 200 in the first 24 hours. So I was like, oh, it's going a little better past that $95. And then we got up to about 400, and it just stalled on me again. And I was down to probably my last, say, 12, 13 days on the campaign. And that's when, some of the people who had saw it on Kickstarter started trying to share it. And they got the attention of Mike S. Miller, and then he had me come on, and then Ethan Van Sciver had me come on his channel, and he told me, he was like, hey, cancel that and put it back on Indiegogo, and then he said, I'm gonna have you on, and we'll try to get you funded. And obviously it worked out a little differently. So um
Right.
it worked
Nice.
out.
Nice. Yeah. That's I mean, yeah. I mean, it is a little terrifying because I have a significant amount of money and dropped into this now just because all I can do is write. So
Yeah,
I've got
'cause
to pay somebody for
oh,
drawing
absolutely. And
colors,
I'm
letters,
always
all that. So
yeah, I'm always envious of people that I see. Some indie creators, they can draw, they can write, they can do the whole thing. And I was like, well, I can write, but I don't
yep,
have that artistic talent. So you got to pay people. But looks like you got a great colorist, you got great artist. Um, I'm hoping you can write. It sounds like you have a story to tell. Let me go through your perks here, and you can kind of
oh
just tell
man.
me about that. So you got $20 here. I don't know how your shipping is, but it says it ships worldwide. $20, signed copy of Iron Skies. And that is your featured perk.
Yeah,
How,
so for the US, all the shipping is free. Outside, it's just a blanket 15 because I couldn't find a good way to break everything out. I've never done a campaign before, but I heard, I think it was Doug Tenaple got just hammered on
yeah,
his last shipping campaign
I
before it
know
reformed
Doug a
him.
little bit.
So I think it was
Yeah,
Bigfoot Bill.
I I happen to know
Yeah.
Doug a little bit. That's my buddy. But I'm looking at the original page of Bigfoot Bill art that he gave me right now, and with his little ornery self, but good old Dougie. But I'm gonna be honest with you. When you just said you ship in the U.S. for free, oh boy, um, I'm just, and the reason I say that is just your packing materials, all that stuff. Even if you can, get it media mail, you're gonna want that extra, even if it was just $5, you're gonna want
Yeah,
that to kind of compensate for some of the hammering you're gonna get on international. Because the international is definitely gonna get you. So just ship it from,
definitely. And that's okay.
just say it, because
Yep.
like I
And
said, if you
yeah,
do get
I'm
funded.
using media mail and then
Mm. But so you got
yep.
your digital option. So your digital options for, and how many pages is your book?
So it starts off being 40. If I can end up hitting the stretch goal on it, which fingers crossed, it'll be about 80. Even at 80, I would try to keep it floppy. But if it goes past 80, I probably won't be able to. I'll probably have to go square bound. But
Gotcha.
yep. And this is just for issue one. So every issue will be right around 40 pages, except for maybe a bit longer in the end just to wrap things up. So it's probably going to be all said and done about 500 pages, assuming that I can get the first one off the ground and going.
All right. So let me see here. Let's see. Physical comic plus a digital poster. 15. Okay. So
Yeah, so I've got a pack that's I've got a pack that's the physical and physical, but I figured I'd give people the actual artwork and they can use it as a screensaver, or not a screensaver, but a background or whatever that they want. If they, because if you're buying a comic from me, man, it doesn't cost me anything to send you an email that has a picture in it.
Right.
So
You got the buddy pack.
Yeah, so the buddy pack is for international. So if you, yep.
Let's see. And signed comic and poster for $50. So that's a physical poster, not digital. So
Yeah. So that one actually, and if we hit $15,000, so that'll be 2 posters. I'll get one signed, or I'll get one designed by a guy named on DeviantArt, the Durian. His artwork's phenomenal. It's awesome. So it would come with 2. Basically, it's just it goes up to 3, I think, based on potential. What are they called? Stretch goals. But yeah, it'll come in its own little shipping tube, and that's the best way I know, because it's a full size poster. It's not like something folded into the book.
oh,
Like
I
this
got
is
you.
like a full rolled, like theater style poster.
Oh, okay. And you got the For the Troops tier, $65. And then what's all in that?
Yep. So that includes everything from before, basically. So it's the poster, it's the signed book, but then it's 2 issues of just a standard Iron Skies book sent to the USO.
Okay. Then you got the
So
$100
it's
original art,
3 books total, 1 poster
but 2 of them are going to the USO.
to the troops. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, good. Then the original art for $100. What's that? $100 a page. And
Yeah. So yep.
and then
And
double
then there
page
is one
splash.
option for the double splash page original art. Yep. And that will be there is one scene towards the end of it's an action scene, and it's towards the end of the first issue, and it's a double page spread, and so there's only one of those. So I wanted to keep them together. I didn't want like one person to get one part of a double page spread and somebody else to get another. So I went ahead and I just made that its own perk.
That makes sense. Yeah, definitely. I just let me ask you this. Let me see here because
Yeah, what's up?
I got some. Let me see how the chat is. Okay. Let me see. Frank Valario. Just wanted to dip in and support the channel. Can't stay long. I'm at work. Well, thank you for the super chat, Frank. Thank you. Super chats are always welcome. Let me see here. But let's see. A lot of people just saying hi. And let's see. Mike Perlis. Okay, so people were asking about the shipping, it looks like. But hey, and some good mornings, and we got like 20 people watching, so that's cool. But
Nice.
okay, so you got one thing that I really did like about it is like you got like the nice steampunk vibe going. Um, what about steampunk appealed to you when you were wanting to create this?
It's something that I've just kind of fell into ages ago. Like I started writing this probably a decade ago. I think it was 2009 when I started writing just the first story. Um, Airships, man. Before any and everything else, before goggles, before gears that don't work and all that stuff, it was airships. Like I've always been a fan of airships since like Final Fantasy 3. Just I love them. And then combat. I like the modern day swashbuckling pirate, sword and cutlass in one hand, pistol in the other, as kind of like a theme. So it's the aesthetic. I love the steampunk aesthetic. I like Victorian era, like out of place, not necessarily like knowing, like just kind of mashing things together in a way that just kind of looks cool. So yeah, I would say that it's the aesthetic, it's the cross of like pirates, Victorian era, and then like steam gears, airships. Yeah.
Okay, Pipe Dreaming Entertainment says Iron Skies looks legit. Backed it last night. That is fantastic. Thank you. Let me
Thank you.
see.
Thank you.
And let me see. I saw Voss and Kazi. I noticed that Eric Weathers is on the project again. Genuine CG super worker. Yes, yeah, definitely appreciate
Yep.
Eric Weathers. I was in a situation a few months ago where it looked like my letterer, who is fantastic, was going to back out. And, Eric sent me a message and he offered to letter brand for me if I could not keep my current letterer. But I talked on the phone with my letterer, and it ended up working out, and we came to an arrangement. And so, fortunately, I didn't have to lose my letterer. He's fantastic, but I would
Yeah.
have,
No, that's awesome.
But if not, I was very appreciative of Eric reaching out and offering his assistance. So that is great. But
I tell you, man, safety nets are awesome. Yeah.
yeah. But I'm an admirer of Eric's, and he's got a book on Indiegogo, which Amanda, if you can find that out, I can't remember the name of it, but I know Eric's got a book on Indiegogo. Drop it in the
Flying Fortress.
Flying Fortress. That is it. Yes, and you could drop that in the lovely Amanda, who is my buddy, and a mod on this channel, and she is dropping your link in the description as well, or in the chat because it's already in the description if anyone wants to check it out.
Awesome. Thank you.
I know a few people when I tweeted it out backed you, so that was good. I had a couple people tell me it's like,
Yeah,
hey, I
that's
backed this,
fantastic, man.
so there you go.
Yep. I just broke over 600. I think it's like 655 last I checked. So definitely, like, it's it that I'm excited slash terrified. Like, it's still right in that pocket. So
Well, you're
yeah.
sitting at $690 right now. So yeah, that is where you are at. You got 20 backers, $690,
Oh, nice. I've
28
got another
days.
one then.
Yeah, we got some people in the chat saying that they backed you and stuff. So that is fantastic. And hopefully,
Awesome.
as the days go on, that's one thing I've noticed. These replays. As more people come to the channel, we got over 2,900 subscribers, and more people come, and they'll start watching like old interviews and stuff. And then, they'll have the links in the description. And, sometimes people will get back, several weeks after these streams. So it's always a good thing.
Yep.
But I always have,
Awesome. Oh,
uh,
and
yes.
you always have what?
No, you were about to say something. Go ahead.
Oh, so I'm actually so much into like the whole airship thing. My artist was like, "Hey man, I have an engineer friend, so if you want to keep like your main airship like consistent throughout the project, you could hire her." And so I was like, "Yeah, man, get me in touch." So I hired an engineer. She's drawing up schematics for the Fallen Hope, which is the cruise airship, and I guess he's making a 3D model. So hopefully that'll help make sure that the art stays crisp, clean, and I think if the drawing is big enough, I'll probably include the schematic of the Fallen Hope with the comic as well.
Interesting. Okay. Um, let me again, like I said, I'm into the steampunk thing because there was, I had Sanford Green on, and we were talking about his book Bitter Root, and Bitter Root is set like in 1920s Harlem Renaissance era, but they're like these monster hunters and all this kind of stuff, but they got a nice look. You see them with the weird backpacks and gauntlets and all this. It's got that steampunk vibe, and I thought it was really
Right.
I it just it's such an interesting, unique story, and I was like, wow, which you know, I've I've been kind of friendly with Sanford since he appeared. Every now and again I'll send him a message. He's kind of a busy guy, but he's always been kind and gracious, and he'll
Right.
respond to me when I go. Because they sold the television rights to Bitterroot to HBO. So I was like, oh man, that's great. Congratulations. And he sent me some I got a little original piece of art that he did. He did Beast Boy for me. I mean, not Beast Boy, the Beast, the original Beast from Jack Kirby Beast with the old X-Men when he's still human, because that's actually my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I know some people love that blue furred beast, which I love the blue furred beast too, but I actually like sometimes when they've done stories with Hank McCoy, and he's figured out a way to cure himself, and he's just got those big hands and big feet. I always dig that. So I was like, I like that human beast with the big hands and big feet. I love the way Jack Kirby drew him, and Sanford drew it like that and sent it to me, and sign a signed book and all that. So I appreciate Sanford is a great guy, and I'm a big fan of his. But like I said, Bitterroot has that steampunk vibe in it as well. And I saw yours, and I was like, I dig steampunk if it's done. Some people do it and it's not done very well, but I thought your art looked fantastic, and it really appealed to me. So I wanted to reach out to you and have you come on. Um, but let me see. I've got a question in.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that, man. Like, okay.
Let me see here. Chauncey Blakey, how did Rue and you buckle down and fuel your motivations to see through your brand in Iron Sky store? Well, I can tell you, yeah, I can definitely answer that, but you are the guest, so please tell us how you know,
So, how did I buckle down? So a
yeah.
little bit of I've been a writer for a long time, and so I started off like just writing little stories for family, and that's how this started. Was like I was just this was for my sister, so I was writing her. I started off writing her like issue. I think it was issue what'll be issue 5. That was the very first story I wrote in this whole thing, and it explains the past of the girl I was telling you about at the beginning who has the airship, but over time, like birthdays happen and stuff like that. So I would keep writing some stories. And then I got to a point where I was like getting ready to turn 30. And I was like, man, I've got to get myself published before I turn 30. Because I always wanted to be an entertainer of some sort, a writer, preferably. So I sent off some stuff to a literary journal, got published, and felt good. And then just kind of kept trucking along, not doing anything. And then I like woke up and I was like 33. And I was like, okay, man, I've got to like get on this because I really want to make something. I really want to put something out there. Like I'm working like 2 full-time jobs. It's not the best. Let's try and do something that I can do at home, and then I can do my other job too. And so I was watching your boy Zach, and that was the very first CG thing I ever saw. It just popped up in the middle of all of my like YouTube stuff, and I was like, okay, well, I can actually do that as long as I can sit down and finish writing this. So just every night I would come home, I'd finish both jobs, I'd come home, I'd put my wife to sleep, like once she was like ready to go to bed. And then after she was asleep, I would get back up, hop into the computer room, and just pound out about an hour, maybe 2 hours worth of typing. Or sometimes just planning. Like I have like notebooks and stuff that I just fill up with like random little notes about things that will happen much, much later in this series. Um, so that I don't forget about it, and it helps shape the whole world. Like it's not like it's just, oh, that's on one event. Like everything starts to play with one another, and as you start to draw that, the rest of it's just putting nose to the grindstone and um, writing, rewriting, reading out loud, rewriting, tearing everything up, rewriting it again. Like that was the definitely for me, that was like the actually getting it finished part. And then I knew that at that point, if I didn't start funding it immediately, that I could potentially set it on the back burner and I could be like 50 and be like, what happened? So,
Mm.
yeah.
All right, so that's your version. Okay, for me, I can tell you that when was it? 2016, October. I created brand in 1998, and I just kept putting it off. I've got it. I've still got my original notebook with my notes, and so I just kept putting it. I'm gonna write this book. I'm gonna write this book, and it just had to go out and work and earn a living, and just things just happened. But in October 2016, my mother passed, and I just kept saying, you know what, life is too short. I'm going to finish this book. So at that point, I started kind of, it really started, hitting me that I needed to really hunker down and, start working on the book. I started looking for artists to, kind of come up with concepts for me. I already knew how the characters were going to look. And, I talked to a couple of artists, and I think I was, one of those artists was Elliot Fernandez, Jerkmonger. He's got a project on Indiegogo now, Doom Kicker with Doug Tnaple. That name keeps coming up, but Elliot, I told Elliot my idea, and I think it was too much. It was too overwhelming, and he just, like I said, he's busy, and he just, and by his own admission, he just didn't want to do any more kind of superhero type stuff anymore. And he's kind of interested in just developing in his own projects and stuff. Elliot is unique. I would think that, he draws superheroes, but it sounds like sometimes when I talk to him that he gets bored with doing that stuff. But he's doing what, you know, he's doing art that he can sell. So if the customers want superheroes, he's going to draw superheroes. But he doesn't. When you talk to him, it doesn't sound like that type of stuff appeals to him personally. And so I'm telling him to draw all these superhero things, and it was like no. And then I found an artist named Kanan White on Instagram, and I sent him a message, and I said pretty much the same thing to him that I said to Elliot, and he seemed very enthusiastic about it. He thought it sounded cool, and obviously he wanted the payday, so he started creating these character concepts for me. First thing he did for me was create Dawn and David Craven and Morgan and Penance. He created all those characters for me. And then he created Dark Santana and Horus. And and then we just started going, and then it's like he everything was great. All the art was great, and I just really started kind of coming up with a overall finalized storyline, because I know beginning, middle, and end how my first story arc goes. I know how it, and then as we go into other stories, I can talk about that. But it just, once that happened, I decided I wanted to crowdfund. But he just wanted to do concept art. He didn't want to actually do the book. So then I had to, go around and find another artist, which I brought in Shelby Robertson, who had been one of Rob Liefeld's old inkers, and you know, old Extreme Studios days over at Image from way, way back in the day. And Shelby was a nice guy, easy to work with, and but he wasn't Kanan. His style and Kanan's style are different, and Kanan had created everything, and I had opportunity. Once Kanan started seeing that I was serious, he decided, that hey, I will take on this project. And Shelby was kind enough to step aside, and Katie came back in, and I made him a partner on brand. But Shelby, one thing I will say about Shelby actually contributed the trading card art for this campaign, so I was very grateful to him for doing that. So uh, he's a very much class act. But that is my story, and I have a question from Jelly Goblin in the chat. Let me see here. He says, Christopher, how does magic work in your comics world setting?
Okay, so basically, everybody that has any sort of ability to use magic has bound to them a grimoire. The grimoire has inside of it a demon. So it's basically fueled from an external source. The grimoire acts as like chains on the demon, so it can't just it's not free. It's not like running around. In fact, in a later episode or a later issue, there's um, an unbound, and it's like as bad as that sounds, like just a demon like walking the earth at that point. Um, but so they're pulling from that side of the wraith wall, so that wall that held back that like the fairy creatures and stuff. That's called the wraith wall, and basically what they're doing is through that grimoire, they're kind of just pulling the magical essence from that side of reality into the normal world. Um, there is a system for it. It's at basically there's different kinds of training. Most of the people they're using like traditional like wizard type spells, like projection type spells. So like what you would see from like somebody throwing a fireball or something along those lines. But then you have people that just like sit up in their tower and enchant things. So they can like carve in runes. It imbues whatever object with a certain trait like durability, heat, whatever. And then the last are the people who inscribe on their own flesh. And so what they do is they basically turn themselves into a magical weapon. So they're able to activate the runes that are so there's this guy in the very next issue. He gets he's got runes all over him, and he can like penetrate pretty much anything with them. And he can like rip people apart, like guys like jaw just like flung across a bar or something like that.
I've got a character
So
like
it's
that.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got the basically three different paths that like your mages would tend to take in society. They are mostly rare outside of the tribalistic magic spiritual area, but they do show up from time to time. They are usually like not very well liked. One, they have a demon that's strapped to them, but also like a lot of people don't actually know what mages are capable of unless they are military. Military are generally trained how to deal with mages, but aside from that, like your general populace is just like what you would think of as just a wizard nowadays. And you'd be like, what the like? You wouldn't necessarily know. You wouldn't be easy about somebody who can just do all this stuff. So yeah, it's magic. Plays a huge role later on in the 12 issue series, and without going too much into like some of the sources behind what, because that's part of the story as well, like it's revealed. I think that basically answers how the magic system works.
Right. So let me first of all let me tell you you're at let me see. Let me refresh it again because you got another backer.
I saw that I just got another one,
And
and it was that double page splash art, which was awesome.
yes, and that page was bought by Brent Bryant, uh, who is in the chat, and he says
Many
backer
thanks.
21 just got the double page splash. So that is there. Let me see. Pipe Dreaming Entertainment says 10,000 goals seems like a high goal, specifically for this month with all the CG books that came out, the 10 days plus more coming every day. Um, I don't know. The I would say on that, it looks like you see certain books that are able to generate within a day, 2 days, 3 days. They're able to raise uh $5,000, $10,000. So if but some of that has to do with, that's where we go into the social media presence, or being able to get on
Right.
platforms like this. John Malin's channel, just being able to get out there and get the word out and let more people know about the book. Like I said, I know when I tweeted it out, I had people backing it. So just from tweeting it, and then so as you can see, he's on the channel and he's gotten a few more sales just from that, and then people will come in later today and watch. So that's one thing I can tell you about Indiegogo's and algorithm. As you guys purchase, they notice, they say, hey, this thing's upticking, and then it starts going into the trending section. So more people go ahead and pull the trigger and make a purchase. It will help him get to that 10. It's not impossible. He's got 28 days. So I don't agree with that, but it is harder for someone without a social media presence to raise those type of funds. I agree, but I also say, and I tell people this all the time, if you need to know how much your book's going to cost, you need to know how much it's going to print, color, all that. So just if you I'm asking for $30,000 and you don't know how much the book's going to cost, I can personally tell you that for brand, we have spent over $40,000 already paying everybody. But everybody on my team, except for me, is pros. So everybody, pros expect to be paid and paid on time. So I can tell you, um, that is everybody's experience is going to be different. But yeah, I see some people, with Indiegogo's algorithm, they'll just they'll put that they want like $1,000, $2,000, and then they'll get funded, and but you can put that you want $2,000 and end up raising four and still not get it. But like I said, I think this book looks
Yeah.
great. So let me see, get some more questions from the chat. Let's see here. Uh oh, this is a man, Jelly Goblin. I already asked Jelly Goblin's question, Amanda. I'm asking. Hold on. Let me see here. Yeah, okay. And I see Brent Bryant. Bam, see that. Yo, hello, Anthony Dumlau. You're just saying hello, hello. Let's see. Oh, I saw Amanda had a thing. She was suggesting, let me see here. Christopher should add that he's hired an engineer to help design the ship to the IGG description, even if he doesn't add it as a perk. Steampunk fans will go gaga for that. Okay.
Awesome. Will do.
Yeah, just put it up there. Let's see. Okay. Bazaka, the IGG project needs horizontal videos and two more art. Okay. So let's get into that. Um, can I be honest with you, sir?
Yes.
Your video is brutal. It
Okay.
it is
What do I
like,
do to fix that?
because and I can say that as I've probably made the worst crowdfunding video in the history of bad crowdfunding videos. And I watched your video, and you shot it. It looks like you shot it in, what was that? Not landscape. You shot it in whatever. It's like you shot it on the phone or something. I don't know. It's
Portrait?
yeah, yeah. You shot it. Oh
I
man,
did.
and yeah, it's not. And I was just like, okay. I was like, God bless him. I don't think he understands that he's hurting himself with the video. Um, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. People see, that's what I'm saying. People watch the
Okay.
video and then yeah, because they like your book and they're like, yeah, the video's not good. And so
Okay.
I don't know. Actually, I know there's some people. Actually, I know Mike S. Miller's son actually does some video. There's a lot of great talented people in this community that can edit. You can take little clips of art from the thing, maybe talk over it or something. There's different ways to shape it. Um, let's see. Vazin Kazi, at least Christopher had his pants on. Did he? Excuse me, Vazin. I was not nude in the video, and I had my pants on. I was just laying in the bed. Now, so if you're gonna put that out there, let's be real. I was laying on the bed when I made my video, but I didn't even have my boxers on. I had a pair of shorts on. I was just laying in the bed. So let's be real. If we gonna be real, let's be real. A little salt from the chat. So okay. I'm like, Let me see here. Matthew Fowler, that Kaya's campaign guy does really good video. I'm not familiar with that book. I don't know. Let's see, Vaz and Kazi, do you have your pants on now? Do you want to know do you honestly want to know if I'm wearing pants right now? That that seems an odd question for I don't want to assume your gender, but I'm assuming you're male. And if you're a male and asking another male to have pants, this is like, oh my goodness. But no, this chat has deteriorated into some degeneracy, and I have a podcast called Sexy Party that does that. It's like that's where I talk about all my depravities is on Sexy Party, which is on Spotify and iTunes if you are interested. but but no, the chat is all love, and they have been very supportive. I cannot complain about the chat. They've been very supportive today because I like how you jumped up a few dollars since we started this, and that lets me
Certainly.
know. So that's what we want. That's let's see. Uh, let me see here. People Circus, you started it with your podcast.
Yeah, and I'll get on and getting a different video too.
But yeah, I'm telling you, when I saw it, I was like, this campaign is too good. Please fix that. And I was like, I had a flashback to myself because I was like, I've seen a few campaigns like that where, but you said it yourself, you were not aware that you may, I don't know, I perhaps you sound like me where it's like, hey, this is good. I should be able to do some numbers. And sometimes just being good isn't going to get it.
That's kind of what I thought.
Because I don't think anyone can look at your art.
I knew that when I started, I was looking for. Right.
No. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
what
anyone...
I wanted when I started.
Yeah, because it looks fantastic. I think your book looks great. I plan on backing myself, and I just and obviously I wanted to have you on to at least try to help. Because if I see a book, people send me books all the time, and I and I was just like, I'm not really interested in that. If I'm gonna sit on, it's like, I'm busy. I got things I could be doing right now. So if I'm gonna sit here and stream with you, I at least want to be enthusiastic about what I'm telling. And I think that's one thing. I've had people that have backed projects that I've featured on this channel. They told me this, like, Antonio, you don't put anybody on. So a lot of times if you have someone on, I will at least take it more seriously. That is that's something, at least for me, that I don't, if you send me a message, if you want to come on this channel, you send me a message and you send me your book. If I don't like it, I'm going to be honest. I want everyone to succeed. But if I'm going to feature you, then I at least want to like your book. That's just me. But let me see. But let's see. People Circus says try a free program called Hit Film Express. It's a free video editor, and you'll be able to do all you need to do with that. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. And let's see here. Huge Ass says, why is the main character using a telescope to check out a naked chick?
he's a thief, so he's getting ready to rob her room. He's staked her out specifically. Um, so what he's doing is she's a noble, and so he is basically like watching as she's getting ready to go to bed, and then he's breaking in to go steal from her.
Mm. I actually, I think
Yeah,
I have an idea that I think could help you. But I will discuss that off the air. That I think could help you raise some more funds. But but I'll suggest that to you off the air because I'm pretty sure I can
all right, sounds
close this.
good.
Yeah, but I think we can maybe help you move the needle a little bit more than what you're doing. I think we're gonna. I think your project looks special to me, and I want to help you. So um, I happen to know some people, so I think I can help you get it up there a little bit more because I think you deserve to be funded, and so we're going to try to make that happen for you.
Awesome,
But
thank you very much.
let's see. But let me see. Let's see. People circles. What do you use? What do who you? It was. I think. Are you still talking about the film editing thing? Because me, because I can tell you, I don't know what Christopher uses, but I am the Akari Press YouTube channel is the home of trash videos. I only use PowerPoint. I use the bare minimum. I am not sitting there editing videos. I love Ethan. Ethan sits there and edits these videos and does all this. And I was like, I'm more of your boy Zach, and he just started a couple months ago using OBS. Before he used to just go, everybody's your boy Zach with the phone and just do that. And I was like, the dude built up a YouTube with 100,000 followers just doing cam videos. I was like, all right, bet. Um, and yeah, so that is we can make certain things happen. Yeah. Boston Cosby. PowerPoint. Yeah, I do PowerPoint. I do they do screen record. That's how I record my videos. I obviously have my microphone and I have my microphone plugged into my laptop, do my PowerPoint thing, find normally a decent article on something geek related. I go on comic book resources or whatever, any of those sites, and find something interesting, and then I decide to plug it in and run my mouth for a few minutes and wrap the video up and load it up. That's what I do, and it's crazy. Some of the videos get like 2 or 3 thousand views, and I go, okay. And some of them get 15. I got one video that's got like 78,000 views, and I go, how the hell did that happen? I was talking for like 3 or 4 minutes and got 78,000 views. It just threw me off. I was like, okay. You never know what's going to take off, though. That's one thing I've noticed about the videos. Just you got to be consistent about uh, working YouTube, because Ethan tell me that all the time. He's like, don't, because I was lazy with my YouTube. I do a video and then like a couple weeks go by and I go, oh man, I guess I need to get back on it. Um, you need to be consistent. You need constant uploads. Even if you don't do it every day, I'd say 3, 4 times a week would be good. And keep the videos. Don't go too long because I know in the beginning I was doing like too much, trying to talk for like 30, 40 minutes. There's some people like when I do that, but when I look at my algorithm, they tune out after like 5 or 10 minutes. It's not, so try to keep it short and
Right.
sweet, get to the point, load it up, move on, and just grow your channel. It does work. It works if you work it. So let me see here. Let me see. Peephole Circus. But yeah, Hit Film Express is great for editing. You could zoom in a bit to crop the side borders and add some image overlays to break the visuals up and sell it more. And Peephole Circus says you got great visuals. Use them. Well, there you go. I agree with that. And
All right.
yeah, so all right. Well, we've been going for a little while here, but I do want to give you an opportunity for any stragglers that are coming into the chat, uh, please tell us why we should back Iron Skies.
The biggest reason to back Iron Skies is that it's uh, fairly unique. Like it's something like it doesn't look like another book that I've seen out there. It I don't tell stories the same way from what I've seen from other people. And in general, it's just something that I've put a lot of care, focus, and attention into. And I think that it promises to be an extremely entertaining comic book. Um, like the art looks fantastic, and I guess all you really have to go on at this point is the care that I took in selecting my artists is the same sort of care that I take in producing the writing for it. And so I want to leave you guys with something, but this is just a start. I'm just trying to get you guys on the first issue, which is for at least 12 issues for the main story, and then possibly other directions after that. So it's not like I want to just have a one and done. I don't want I'm not trying to just like get money real quick off of something. I'm trying to build an entire universe here. And so it takes a certain another level of care, but it's also another good reason to get in right now on issue one, because it lets you know where you're at and orients you.
Okay. Let me see here. I got a super chat from Reno. Says schedule Otis Frampton. He has a book out now. Uh, I'm not familiar. Have Otis reach out to me. That's a big thing. If you are a creator, if I don't track you down, like I tracked Kristopher down because I liked his book. I saw his book on Indiegogo and IndieCron, and I thought it looked dope, so I wanted to have him on. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Otis's book. But if you're the creator of a book, you definitely need to send me a message. It's like that's the thing, because if the creator, if like the artist or the writer doesn't reach out to me, I generally don't book those guests unless I am trying to get them myself. Just because I'm too busy to be chasing down people if they got a project. But if Otis will send me a DM and send me the link to his campaign and let me check it out. If it's appealing to me, then he'll be right here, just like Kristopher is. I will let anyone come on if they have a project that I think is good. Now, I don't think everything is good though, but I will at least give him a fair shot and let him, do what he do. But that is just that is if he sends me a DM, we can talk. I'm at least willing to look at his project. So but that is all that. But yes, please, anybody watching, please hit that thumbs up button. Uh and Yeah, let us drift off into the sunset. Iron Skies, folks, it looks great to me. I am definitely planning on backing this project. I am going to put some support behind this. I'd like to see him get funded. And when we go off the air, I am going to give you a small suggestion, which I think will help you get this. But matter of fact, I think it is time to wrap up this chat. Guys, thanks so much for being here today. Uh, Kristopher, how can people follow you on social media and all that if you want, to keep in touch? I know you've got like a Facebook for your book and
So
all
I
that.
have Iron Skies Media is my Facebook, and then um, I'm at Witherwood1 on Twitter, and I believe that's about it. So I've got Facebook and I've got Twitter.
Yeah, and for those of you guys that follow me on the Twitter, you know that I tweeted out his campaign the other day, and I tagged him in it. So yeah, it is Witherwood1. You can find that. If you don't follow him and you want to, check my timeline, because you'll see where I tweeted out the his book and his Twitter account, so you can link up to him from there. Because definitely, I think this is going to be a great project. I would very much. Yeah, Witherwood at Witherwood One. That is it. There you go. All right. Well, it's time. It's time, guys. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. And if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on this YouTube channel. Everywhere is at Akari Press. And if you type in akaripress.com, it will take you directly to my Indiegogo campaign for my comic book series brand with the phenomenal Kanan White. We're on Teespring. We're on Amazon.com. The links to those are in the description. Back Iron Skies, guy. Get it. It's there. I'm out.